Last episode, we built Peach's castle, but today, we're about to ruin it. We're turning it into an absolutely insane water park, so bring your swimsuits, sunscreen, and make sure you sign the waiver. Let's get started. Last episode, we finished everything on the outside. Peach's castle, the entrance, all the little details, but we left out the waterfall. And this was very intentional. If you look closely, guests are already swimming in the moat anyway, so now we just lean into it and turn the whole thing into an actual water park. First step is building slides that mimic the falling water. We need the right color, the right angle, and enough of them that this actually replicates the waterfall from the game. I placed the first slide and immediately the angle just feels a little off. It's a straight drop, so we've got a decision to make. Do we keep this realistic or do we just go full chaos? We're going chaos, no doubt about that, but we're not launching guests straight into a castle wall. They haven't found any 1-ups yet. So I add run-out lanes at the bottom to slow everything down, and as I build the slides, I'm trying to make them actually look like a waterfall, and at this point, I honestly have no idea if this is actually going to work or if we're gonna have to pivot. Then we add water. Oh, wait, not like that. After messing with it, I'm able to fit 4 slides in, which sounds great, but it still doesn't look like the game. So instead of scrapping it, I actually build a waterfall over the slides, so now the slides start behind the waterfall and shoot guests into the moat through the waterfall, which is way closer to what this should feel like. The problem is, as we all know, waterfalls don't scale in this game. I don't use mods, so I fake the height by layering big curved pieces until it feels right. Not perfect, but this actually works. Then immediately we hit a big problem here. Guests have no way to get back. We can't ruin the front of the castle with paths, so I build a hidden path behind the waterfall so guests can loop back through without breaking the look. I also add a small grotto here tucked behind the slides. This felt like the perfect place to hide a power star later. And in case you were wondering, yeah, that's a little bit of foreshadowing. We'll be placing power stars in not only our 4 worlds that we build in later episodes, but they'll also be hidden throughout the water park we build today as well. Peach's castle is officially a water park, but there's one part of this map we still haven't touched yet: the roof. This was one of the most mysterious parts of the game back in 1996. We all knew something was up there, we just had no idea how to get to it. But now, guests can. I place a hidden path, bring everyone up, and now we're walking around on the roof. Should we add a fence so people don't fall off? Nah. At this point, it's survival of the fittest. Before we build anything else up here though, the roof needs one thing: Yoshi. But not your normal Mario 64 Yoshi. This one's fully bought into the water park idea. He's sitting on a lounge chair, just soaking in the sun, just completely vibing. I really take my time here because I need to get better at 3D figures, and we absolutely cannot mess this up. And honestly, I think he turned out pretty good. If you want to check him out yourself, he's going into the workshop. This is actually my first blueprint, so go inspect his physique and let me know if I went too far. Now we've got a ripped Yoshi just chilling on the roof and absolutely nothing else. While I'm up here, I realize I missed something last episode: the flags on top of the tower, so I go back and add those in real quick. Next up, it's time to build our first slide from the roof. This one will be coming from the very top of the tower. Problem is, the tower is already built. So I move the entire tower out of the way for a second, then I raise the terrain underneath to force the entrance to sit at roof height. Once everything lines up, I move the castle back into place. Now it just looks like the slide is coming straight out of the tower, which is exactly what we wanted. We build the rest with clear tubes so guests don't fall off, and we can still see the castle while riding it, and guests will be able to see the castle from the ground. But now we need somewhere for this slide to go, so we have no other choice but to build a pool on the roof. Yoshi's been baking in the sun this whole time, so he needs a pool. I carve into the roof, start shaping the pool, and it actually comes together, but the roof pieces don't scale down enough for a narrow path, so I just switch it to wood. Same color, way safer for the guests, and it fits the vibe. The slide itself is kind of insane. Pretty much the entire thing is a left turn, probably nauseating, but from the outside, it looks really cool. I check on Yoshi again to see how he's doing, and there's a guest sitting in his chair, clipping straight through his body, not a care in the world. So I try to fix it. I raise the chair a little bit. That doesn't work. These guests literally ignore the laws of physics. When it comes to sitting down, they'll do whatever it takes. Nope. Still sitting on him. All right, barriers. This has to work. And I even try hiding them underground. Nothing. They still get to the chair. And at this point, I realize there's an actual bug happening. Guests will sit here even when there is no path. They will float in the air to get to Yoshi. So last resort, I move Yoshi into the pool, and finally, they leave him alone. Now we've got this massive space on the roof, but it's still pretty empty. So after laying out the chairs and umbrellas, I add a yellow star, and that's when it clicks. If this is supposed to feel like Mario 64, these slides that we build today can't just be random slides sitting on top of a castle. They need to feel like actual objectives. objectives. So instead of treating them like normal water slides, we turn them into full star missions. I build the entrance for each of our 4 slides on the roof, naming them after their star missions to look exactly like the original star menu. White screen, black text, blue star. It's very simple, but sometimes simple is realistic, especially for Mario 64. After each entrance is built, we still only have 1 slide up here. 3 are missing, so now it's time for slide number 2, Blast to the Hidden Beach. This is full chaos mode. The goal here is to start on the roof, go underground, and have the guests fly out of our 120 star cannon. But there's a catch: momentum. We can't have too much or too little. We run a guest test and it's a disaster. They're flying straight into the hillside. It actually looks incredible, but here we are absolutely destroying these people. I try to build them out with a mid-air landing platform to grab the star, but that's a fail. If there's a platform, there's a path, and if there's a path, guests will just skip the slide. They'd get the star without the physical torture of being launched 100 yards like an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary. They have to go through the pain. No cheating allowed. So I scrap the second slide, build a little cave, and build a connecting path. And now it feels exactly like a high-level Mario 64 star. Technically, guests could walk there, but they won't. And just to be safe, I'm slapping down a Bowser no entry sign. The result? The most physically demanding star in the park. There's no doubt about that. Guests land, die for a second, wake up, and go grab the star. And that part was actually an accident, but we're keeping it. Next up, something less lethal. This one empties into the grotto we built earlier. It starts by going behind the roof and cuts directly across the waterfall, and since the flume is clear, you get the perfect view of rafts drifting in front of the waterfall. To make it fit, I had to hollow out the entire mountain, basically carving a tunnel straight into the grotto's heart. Then I fill it all in with terrain and rocks, but the finish line needs a spark. It needs something different here. So instead of just a star, we're placing 5 gold coins at the landing spot as well. And at this point, the grotto is officially one of the coolest features of the park. Finally, the last slide off the roof. Ride the rolling hills. For this one, we need raw speed, so the rafts are gone. We're switching to a mat flume. Mats are the only way to keep flat momentum. It lets us hit those classic Mario bunny hops without the guests stalling out. I'm wrapping this thing around the entire map. It soars over the pipe entrance, giving new arrivals a face full of speed, and glides through the hills before hitting the runoff near sign number 2. No slow sections, no stalls. If this works, this is definitely the longest water slide I've ever built. At this point, the water park is actually starting to feel really fun, and we've been able to keep it looking like Mario 64. Kind of. But this is where things get risky. If we miss the small details, the whole Peach's Castle vibe just turns into a generic water park. And that kills everything we've built so far. So I go back and finish the rest of the Bowser sign, since right now guests can definitely cheat their way to stars, and that completely breaks the experience. I like how this one connects to the waterfall slides, and you can actually see it from the outside. It kind of foreshadows what's going on back there. And speaking of those slides, we have a pretty big problem with them. They don't even have a name. So we fixed that. We named them Secrets of the Waterfall. We placed the menu entrance, placed the star, and just like that, now we have a total of 5 stars in the castle. But when I circle back to look at the waterfall again, it still doesn't feel right. It's too clean, missing that slightly chaotic energy. So I start pushing it a little bit further. We put steam across the entire landing area, and I'm really trying hard not to reuse too many fences from episode 1, but honestly, this works. Blocking this area where the star is makes it feel a lot more intentional, like this isn't somewhere you're supposed to just wander into. It adds a little bit of lore, like this is actually a restricted area. So now all 5 stars are technically complete, but when I start walking around the park with the volume on, it's way too quiet. 3 things in this park absolutely need sound: the yellow stars, the blue star menu, and the roof. This part gets dangerous fast. Too much sound and it turns into noise, too little and everything feels dead. I wanted to use Bowser sounds, but it completely takes over everything. Even with a sequencer and time in between the sound, it just turns into spam. And realistically, the focus should be the stars anyway. So I blend together a few sounds, keep it subtle, and put them on a loop that plays every 10 seconds. Then I place each speaker next to its respective star, and hopefully these speakers are waterproof. Listen to this.
jungle.
And for the roof sound, we keep it simple, just a subtle lounge playlist, nothing crazy. This is where people are going to really hang out and have a good time. We still have the castle interior to build, and 4 full Mario 64 worlds after that, plus a full no commentary tour where everything comes together in the very end. So that is when we will really be able to see all the rides, all the slides, all the sights and the sounds. But for now, we have to keep building. This roof isn't where it needs to be. It needs an identity. So its name is now Yoshi's Rooftop Resort. I design a logo and then it's back into detailing mode. Now in Mario 64, when Mario meets Yoshi up here, there's a wing cap block. So we add that too. But this isn't just sitting here as a prop. We need to make this a bar. Now I've got to figure out how to make this look like a wing cap block while also making it feel like a rooftop bar, which I honestly have no idea how I'm going to pull this off. I start by building out a view deck, and even though the rest of the roof doesn't use fences, adding a glass wall here actually makes this area feel more intentional, like it's a featured spot. Then we add tables, build out the bar, give it a name. We'll call it the wing cap. We design a logo, but it's still not enough. And then it hits me. The only way this works is to go big. So we add a giant wing cap. Thank God for these falcon wings. And just like that, Yoshi's Rooftop Resort officially has a rooftop bar. After a few hours off camera, the water park is finally done. From the outside, everything looks great, but inside the castle, there's nothing there. It's an empty shell. And this is actually really just the beginning of this series. Next episode, we build the entire interior with a whole bunch of surprises, and this is where everything starts to come together. And after that, we take our first Super Mario 64 world and turn it into a ride. We'll see you soon.